because he sees them and he wants to follow, or it's something he normally does anyway, like them, whenever there's rain. So, and this is contrasted against the latest scene, which was Yasmin's favorite scene in the film, where the family is dancing in the living room, and the boy wants to join in, wants to dance in with them, but he cannot, because he's not given permission to enter their world. I like this one, this color-coded scene where the Pak Mat cowboy, their neighbor, is picking up his girlfriend, and she's dressed in the same outfit. The outfit is the same color as his motorcycle, which could not have possibly been planned by the characters. I found out yesterday, see, I'm finding out new things all the time, that Pak Mat cowboy is based on a real person in Muar, which is what I thought was quite odd. Not odd, but it made sense. And this was actually my favorite scene in Moksin. Yam, the maid, and her friend, Sanah, making ice cream Malaysia, this old-fashioned thing of you freeze, freeze something sweet into ice, and then you consume it later. And what I like about the scene is that it lasts exactly the length of a film can, which is like almost 4 minutes, 35 mm can, and it's one take. And it's basically about storytelling. It's the film seems to be, the scene seems to be about ice cream, but it's about Yasmin's approach to storytelling. It says, you've got to have something sweet, you've got to have something bitter, and you've got to have something sweet and bitter, like bittersweet, so that when in one flavor, one ice cream, you have many flavors. So it's actually Yasmin telling us how she tells stories. And the magic of this scene is that throughout it, you're actually thinking of Moksin's life, because they're actually talking about Moksin, but Moksin never appears in it. So that's something quite magical in there. And then the magical thing in there, which I'm getting very pedantic here, is that the Adibano, the actress, she flubs a part of the scene. She does something wrong. But instead of saying, oh, cut, 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 she pretends that it's her character making a mistake and covers up for it. Says, oh, I'm nervous, because saying that she's nervous because she's got a visitor. So I thought that was very cute. Because if you see that, you know it's a mistake, but it's covered up. So I like things like that when they happen. And this is the poster for Moksin. Moksin in Malaysia was not only her biggest hit, it made as much as all the other films put together. So I explained why by reference to the poster, because it's her only all-Malay poster. And the last shot of Moksin is the crew of the film gathering together in front of the camera to celebrate the end of the shoot. So I imitated that in the last few pages of this book, where the last 5 pages are written not by me but by various other people, including Wu Ling here, who sent in stories, sent in one sentence each about her film. So the last 5 pages are like testimonials like that. And the last image you see is actually a mural that was printed on the bank of a KL river by 2 artists who didn't even know Yasmin personally, but very soon after the funeral they did distribute graffiti. So next is Mu'alaf, which is only releasing in Malaysia next week. And this is one of the lines that was censored from Mu'alaf. There are 2 lines of dialogue censored. One is when a priest and a teacher come to visit these 2 Malay sisters, and they're in Telekong, they're in prayer garb, and the girl says, let us change out of our Telekong first. And then the priest says, no, you look quite nice, you look like nuns. So in Malaysia, that line, you look like nuns, is taken out. Because of course Malays didn't take anything from anybody. It's like, we didn't learn how to be circumcised from Jews and so on. It's all a lie. So, and this, her last film to be released in Malaysia during her lifetime was Talent Time. And Talent Time was a flop. And when I saw it, I thought I knew why it was a flop. Because, flop as in box office flop. Because the poster is very boring. This was the first poster that I didn't think would win Best Poster at the Malaysian Film Festival. And I'm an expert because I did a horror movie where we won Best Poster. So every year I comment on what poster can win Best Poster, which I always maintain is the most important category in our festival of film Malaysia, because You don't have to spend 2 hours of your life watching these often bad films. You just, in the space of 2 seconds, you can tell a good poster from a bad one. So I thought, such a bad poster. So it's called Talent Time, but everybody looks so glum. And this guy is so big, but he's not famous. And there's this semicircle of people, they also look so glum. Including, Jacqueline Victor, who's famous, but she's in the shadow. So why, what's such a bad poster? Complain. But then when I saw Talent Time again, after a while writing this book, what struck me and made me quite astonished is that the arrangement of the poster is exactly the same, almost exactly the same as the arrangement of a funeral. When Mahesh's uncle Ganesh dies, he's laid out in exactly the same position. He's in red and there's a semicircle of people on his left. So it's like the poster is a stylized depiction of a funeral. I mean, of course, it's a big coincidence, but it's something that it really jolted me. There are two sort of visual cultural symbols here. Both happen, I think, pretty much accidentally. One is when the teenagers are asleep on the living room floor, they assume a kind of yin and yang position, which only got noticed when the DP was framing the shot. And the other is when the two mothers are fighting, because the Indian mother can't bear the fact that her son might be going out with a Malay girl. So the Malay mother turns away, but in turning away she inadvertently does this kind of gesture, this kind of namaste gesture, which I thought was quite nice. It lasts for only like a second, but it's quite a telling moment. Malays have this bad habit called buang tabiat, which is like just before you die, you leave hints that you're about to leave. So any newspaper report in Malaysia about someone who just got killed in a car accident, whatever, there will be an interview with the relative by saying, he normally wears blue shirt. That day he wore a yellow shirt. Then I knew something was wrong. It's a very bad habit. But watching Talent Time again, it struck me just how much of Talent Time was actually kind of maudlin and to preoccupied with death, to the extent that you think the Talent Time, the title, you get some kind of high school musical, but the last shot is very deliberately the lights in an auditorium being switched off one by one, and in the end there's only darkness. It's like the stage is dark after that. So see, that's good. Exactly what I want people to do.
At least I know what you're talking about.
So that's the last shot you see in any of our films, and it has a very finite quality, like the end. So throughout the book I discussed several films that she planned to make but never got to make. Two of them would have been set in Singapore. One is called Monte Carlo, which is a romance between a waiter, like a Bangladesh waiter, and a Malay, a worker, Bangladesh worker, and a waitress, Malay waitress. And the other was called Go Thaddeus, which is a biopic of the athlete who died as a teenager. So both will never get made, and or they will, maybe they will, but by other people. So, and there's also a film in Japan that she wanted to do, where the script was already done, but which I didn't discuss the script. And there was one in Indonesia that she wanted to do. So there are many other things. She always had these various ideas, and she was quite free about sharing what these ideas were. But having said all that, one part of me says, oh, it's such a shame all these films will never get made. And another part, when you see Talent Time, it looks like the filmography is so complete. It's like it's just meant to stop there. I think the nice thing about Yasmin is that she has this ability to inspire people. So even by saying, I want to make a film about this, I think the idea does go out there. And somehow or later, somebody will pick up on that idea. If not that exact idea, then the spirit in which she intends it. I want to make a film about how people don't understand each other. That kind of thing. So people would get inspired, either in writing or in painting or in some other ways. So I think the energy is still there. It's just been dispersed. All this energy used to be concentrated in one person, but now it's been spread out. Which is why I like the graffiti at the end. I mean, I don't know the artist at all, but the idea that someone was inspired enough to do something so spontaneous and so bold, because you didn't get arrested for it. I thought, yeah, it's things will spread out. You'll feel the ripple effect for